So I do predict that the Mitch Marner contract will get solved in season. I think it's actually going to be very similar to what happened with William Nylander, where, he was just having an unbelievable season, and then the Leafs decided to re-sign him. Now, they didn't have any success in the playoffs, but whatever. And we do know that Mitch Marner has been trying to figure it out with the Leafs, and the Leafs agent has been keeping in contact with Brad Treveling, and they're okay with getting something done in the season. Now, Mitch Marner has been fantastic for the Maple Leafs. He's always been good in the regular season. And the real question is how does he do in the playoffs? Now we have Nick Kypreos of Sportsnet coming out and saying that Mitch Marner very well could ask for $14 million. And this is going to make my head explode with this stuff. Now, here's the thing. If we want to have a discussion about things, we need to steel man the other side's argument. If you disagree or you agree with me or whatever, but at least try to have a conversation. I genuinely try to engage with why people think this. Now, to steel man his argument, if Mitch Marner went to unrestricted free agency, he could get $14 million. Is that factually true? I would say it probably is. I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but it's probably true. If you go to free agency and there's 32 teams, there's going to be one desperate team that can hardly score that probably would give him that insane amount. And if he takes less than that, it is a, quote, hometown discount, quote, unquote, which is, it sounds outrageous. It is outrageous that $12 million is a hometown discount. I will say, though, that you have to learn how to deal with the fans and the media in Toronto, right? It's honestly almost like Mitch Marner in some ways tries to make himself unlikable with how he deals with this stuff. You just have to sign a decent contract. Now, I don't know what you guys think he should sign. I don't know where you guys are at with this, but if it is $14 million, just let him walk. Just let him walk. I'm sorry, that is outrageous. Could he technically get that? Yes, he could get that $14 million AAV. That actually is probably true, by the way. But first off, the Leafs are the only team that can actually offer him the extra year on the contract. Let's not forget that. That's a very, very important thing, because if somebody can give him $14 million on 7 years, if we give him, let's say 12 on 8, that actually is about similar, if not even a better deal. But would you even go that high? Would you even go to 12 million, for example? I'm not really sure that I personally would. It seems a little high even at that. Now, let's take a look. We have the William Nylander contract to look back at and analyze what he signed, right? He was on pace for an unbelievable point season last year. He had an unbelievable season. Comparable, I would say, to what Mitch Marner is doing right now. Now, he got 11.5. I would give him that same percentage of the cap, which would work out to be around 12. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. Now, you just have to hope that these guys can figure out how to score in the playoffs when they get there. But $12 million is a very, very, very reasonable contract. And if he does not sign that, he is going to get absolutely torched in Toronto. I'm sorry, it's just a fact. He is going to get torched for the rest of his career if he leaves after getting offered. It's fine to chase the bag, but I'm just sometimes it gets a little bit outrageous where you're all right, man, winning is good too. And at the end of the day, don't you want to start or finish what you started in Toronto? You got drafted here. Don't you want to finish off what you started and win and compete, at least go deep in the playoffs a couple of times would be nice, right? The Leafs have been a competitive team for years and years and years and years, and it's just they just can't break through it. And it's one of the stranger things because you have players that couldn't score that much in Toronto. Like Zach Hyman scored in the regular season in Toronto, but his playoff stats actually really weren't nearly as good as you think. Like, he didn't perform that well in the playoffs. That's why the Leafs probably let him go. Now, that ended up obviously being a mistake, because Zach Hyman has been objectively amazing in Edmonton. He's been really, really, really good. And I mean, yeah, the Leafs probably should have signed that contract, because he's really not even getting paid. Well, I mean, he's getting paid a good chunk of dollars, but it's not like an outrageous contract by any means. But here's the thing. My opinion on this is going to be very simple. Technically, and again, Nick Kypreos actually recently defended his take on Mitch Marner. I'll put a link to I'll put the article right now up on the screen that I think he posted on the Toronto Star, and he essentially was saying, I stand by what I'm saying, and he's not actually completely wrong about that. Like, logically speaking, what he said was logically correct, where if you go to the free market, you will get a higher AAV than the Leafs are probably willing to give him. It's logically true, but again, the Leafs can only give him the 8th year. It's just infuriating stuff for Leaf fans to hear. It's just like, I don't know, man. If he just signs the Nylander deal and gets it done, then it is what it is. But his agent is really, 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 really difficult, though, man. Like, his agent is really hard, and typically his agent likes to go to UFA to see what deals are available. But at the end of the day, Mitch Marner needs to put his foot down. He needs to put his foot down and say, no, I'm just going to take the best deal he can. I don't want to screw around too much. Let's just take the best deal that I can. I want to be a Maple Leaf. Like, he really needs to show something to the fans here, because I understand it's a business, but playing for your hometown team, being a Toronto Maple Leaf, man, like, it's just different. So it's more than just business here, in my opinion, anyway. Anyways, I'm going to leave this video here. I just wanted to touch on that outrageous ask, or not ask, but what Nick Kypreos said anyway. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would appreciate it, guys, and have a great day. Goodbye.